Yeah! We're in the game. Yes! We're in the game, dude.
Join the team.
Hey, this is the McGuire Review, and today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new game that is going to be that is going to be hitting Kickstarter very soon, so let's lock in and get ready to go. Alright, this is a brand new one from Starling Games. Now, you may know Starling Games from a phenomenal Kickstarter that just got recently funded, and we are anxiously waiting. Everdale, this is the next one from these guys, and it is called A War of Whispers. And this is actually a really fun game. It's very, very simple. It has a really nice Euro mechanic feel to it. It's got a little bit of a worker placement feel to it. It's got that strategy. You're essentially playing out a political warfare across your 5 different empires of this world here. So we have the Lion Empire and the Horse Empire and the Bear Empire. Dude. Yes! Yes! You're in the game, dude! We're in the game. Yes! We're in the game, dude. Love to see that Bear Empire. Very, very cool. Hey guys, we know. It's not that big of a deal. We're in the game. Thank you. Oh man, keep it coming. Alright, so then we got the Eagle Empire. We have the Elephant Empire. And that's all of them, because we started with the lion there. So there are 5 empires, and you'll see that here played out on this board. Each one of these areas, and I know it might be a little bit difficult to see. Bear, go ahead and load up the overhead video so you can get down on this board and see it. But even with that, it may be a little hard to see the color variations. Again, this is a prototype edition of this game. This is not a production quality piece of work here. This is completely prototype. And with that, what we are going to have to do, again, is another giveaway of this prototype. So, you know how it works. Hit that subscribe, join the team, comment below, and you'll get entered to get this prototype. On the last day of the Kickstarter, Bear will press the button of fate, choose one of the team members, and you will get the prototype edition of A War of Whispers, which is always awesome because you get this game well before anyone else would that kickstarted it. And I'll tell you, you want to go check out that Kickstarter because it is going to be awesome. There's going to be a standard version of this game, and there's going to be a deluxe version of this game. And the deluxe version comes with a bunch of plastic. It comes with plastic that replaces all of our wood bits. So if you want that more nostalgic Euro feel with the wood bits, and you just kind of want that classic setup and style, you have that option. Or if you want to amp it up and put the plastic on the board and have little banners and have, you know, you can see all the stuff they're going to have once that Kickstarter goes live. It's going to be really cool. It's really going to add some height, really add a nice touch to this game because it's a fantastic game to start with just with its base mechanics. So adding that extra stuff for the deluxe edition, 2 thumbs up. It's going to be really, really good. So that's how we're going to do the giveaway. Make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. That way you can get the updates. I announce all the winners through that. I will pin it to the comments as well. But follow me on Twitter and hit that Facebook up and give me a like there as well. It just really helps the channel. Not required though. Only thing that's required is just to make sure you're a team member of this channel and then comment below. Okay? So that's how the giveaway is going to work. And again, this is prototype, so these colors, I'm assuming through production, everything will kind of be amped up and it'll be a little bit easier to see. So what you'll have is these areas. You see the brown here is right here. So this is the Horse Empire. And this one here is gold, and this one is the Lion Empire. And those are the different empires that are in this world. And within each one of those empires, you have various regions. So there's lines that are connected, and there's like smaller spots within each one of these empires. Within those spots, you may have farms, which is this tiny little hut icon right here. You may have a city, which is this larger circular icon right here. Or you may have a fort or a tower, which is this larger icon that you'll see here kind of projecting up. It looks like a garrison tower that you would have, and it's got a nice little shadow that's cast off of it. I like that as well. They did a good job with the artwork on this board, the little tiny various different buildings, and each one of them has their own shadow that it's casting, which is nice. And the shadows cast from different angles across the board, which does give the board a little bit of a 3-dimensional look when you look down at the artwork. So I thought that was a nice little touch just from the artwork perspective. Let's grab our rule book here. Again, prototype. These rules are very short. It's a very quick read. The game is actually really simple, and I like that. I like when I see new games that have fantastic mechanics and design, but are simple and play out quick. And this one nails it on all of those cylinders. So the goal of this game is really to have the most influence and control at the end. So the players aren't going to take control of our various different empires. Those are the empires that play out in the board. The players are going to take control of one of these 4 mats. So it's a 2 to 4 player game. And you're going to have the Pale Raven cult, the Cult of the Rat, or you can call them clans, whatever you want there, the Spider Clan and the Serpent Clan. All right, those are the 4 that you're going to have, and they don't differ in this prototype edition at all based on, what they are. Like, one of them doesn't have a different ability than another one does. They're all the same. It's just that signifies you a different way as a player. So, go with maybe your favorite animal or whatever you want to do there on these clans. I will say for the prototype edition, the Cult of the Rat, they do come with these agent tokens that should match the actual symbol of the actual clan. This one here does not. So it has the lion printed on it, which it should have had the rat printed on it. So I think that's just a minor printing mistake for this prototype. It's the only thing in this prototype that I can find that does have any type of printing errors. But, that's okay. Sometimes that happens when they print the prototypes. And frankly, it's not that big of a deal. You just need to know, hey, if there's a lion agent out on the board, that's actually the rat. Or, whoever wins this, if you want to, it is a prototype. You can just take a Sharpie and draw a little rat on there if you want to, right over the top of that line. It's a pretty simple little icon here. You can draw it however you want. Just draw a little mouse on there. Not that big of a deal, okay? You could even get fancy and take a picture of this image, print it out, cut it, size it, and glue it on top of each one of those tokens if you really want to go that far. To correct that, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's just take a look at our Pale Raven here, and you'll see the board is very simple. You're going to be acquiring these cards for the different empires over the course of the game. I'll explain that here in a second, but it's very simple. You're going to have basically your agent tokens that you're going to use to place out on the board in these little square spots. Okay, you'll be able to place 2 of those and pick up 1 every turn. We'll talk about that when we get to the turn mechanic, because this right here is absolutely fantastic design. I love it. Bear loves it. Well, Bear's just excited because he's in the game. He can't get over that. It's kind of both of us, right? It's not just you. I'm kind of this guy, I think. No, I'm the guy riding the bear with the, dagger. That's me. You guys are great. Okay, back to the card here. I keep getting off on these tangents about how awesome it is we're in the game. But back to the card here, we've got these 5 different tokens here, and each one of them on the bottom, and I'll show you, on the bottom of each one of these is a different symbol, and it corresponds to the different empires. The beauty here is you don't know which one's which. You'll take these in the beginning, you'll shuffle them up, and you'll just put them down on these, and each one of these cards right under that symbol is like a ×4, ×3, ×2, ×0, -1. So you don't know where those bets, we'll call them, have been placed for each one of the empires. So as you're playing the game and you're politically positioning banners, that's how you take control of areas. You want to take control of these areas with the cities. That's the most important for endgame scoring. And you're positioning those around. You don't really know all of the ones that you have put your bets on. It's secret. And at the end of the game, you're going to turn those over, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, I did have it in a position that was right. Now, you may hear that and you may think, oh, well then, is it just complete chance? Like, you can just put them anywhere on the board and you just get lucky of whoever turns them over at the end. And that's what I thought when I first read through the rules. But then once I started to play, and they have this phase in the game called May Expose and Swap Loyalties. That's what really makes that a very interesting mechanic, because there's a phase in a round where you have the option as a player, and you don't have to do this, which is interesting, but as a player you can swap 2 of your tokens, and you don't look before you do it. You just say, you know what, I'm going to swap this one and I'm going to swap this one, and you swap them. And then you have to flip them over. So now as a player and everybody else knows that for the eagle empire and for the lion empire, for the lion it's times 0. So you're probably not going to want to do a lot in the lion empire anymore if you have so far in the game, because it's not really going to be worth much for you. Where in the eagle, whatever cities you control in the eagle realm, which they have a city right here and right here, if the eagle empire controls the areas where the cities are, because other empires are going to move in. But as a player, if you end the game and the eagle, the red cubes, have more cubes, and that's kind of how it works with control, just the most cubes wins the control. If you have, well, outside of these little fort towers, and we'll talk about that here in a second. If you have one of the, well, I'll talk about it now. If you have one of those fort towers at just +1, it's like having one extra little cube. So technically, it's whoever has the most control, and it may be a fort in that area, but whoever has the most cubes plus forts there, you'll control that area. So back here, if the eagle clan times 3, if you had more control in that area at the end of the game, you controlled that city and you controlled this city, you would go ahead and multiply however many cities you control in that area times 3. And that would give you a point value. And you'd go through each one of those at the end of the game, and you just say, well, how many cities do I control? How many of them within each regions times the amount of what it's on? And you add all that up over each one of those empires. That's your total score as a player. So it does get very interesting, because you'll find, that's an optional phase. You don't have to swap and put them up. And once they're face up, they're done. You can't swap them again and say, oh, I'll swap them again because I want the eagle actually over here and I want the bear over here. You can only swap and then come face up, and then they're locked in there for the rest of the game. Let's say I wanted to swap these on another round and put them face up. Now I know where these are going to play out, and I'm going to be trying to position cubes around this board, much like everybody else's as well, and others may have the same icons on the same thing. So you'll see players will start to almost help one another as in moving into certain areas, because it really benefits them both. So that's a nice mechanic as well. So it really is this political landscape that you're orchestrating over the course of the game. It is a competitive game, but it doesn't always feel competitive. It really feels like every time it's your turn, you're politically trying to manipulate this landscape. There definitely are situations where you're going to be trying to lock down certain agent spots so others don't get those because they're actions that you want. There's definitely times where maybe you will have a certain type of empire that's higher points than anyone else around the board, especially in a 2-player game. But when you get into a 4-player game, it gets really fun because you will have your empires in the same position point-wise, or that multiply-wise, your multiplier, as other players have. And that's a lot of fun. But again, you can only swap 2 and then flip over, and then you're always going to have one. Then obviously that one that you have left isn't going to be a secret because there's only 5 empires and you already know where 4 of them are positioned. So you know for a fact that this is the horse empire that's left here on the -1. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of gameplay here, and we'll go around, we'll do a round, and I'll show you how this fantastic design of a round works around this board. All right, Bear, can you hold me the rule book for me, please? Thank you. All right, so this is the first player token, and again, prototype's a little piece of cardboard cut out with some paper kind of glued on it with a little bit of a symbol there of what looks like a ranger with a sword. It's a pretty cool little piece of artwork, actually. This is the first player token that's going to pass around, round to round. We're going to start here with the Pale Raven Clan. And we'll come here and we'll see this is how the round actually plays out. So you'll see that there are these little weight tokens that are stuck right here, and we'll just position those there for now. And then there's these little turn tokens, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 printed on them. And all you do is you just take the first one. I'd put the stack right there. You take the first one and you put it right on the start. And it just says right on the board, start right there. Put it right there, okay? And then you're just going to follow it around the track. And it makes it really easy to know where you are in the turn and what's next. And I love that. Just such an excellent... I love this circular... I don't know what it is with that design, but games that follow kind of that design where they go around a turn order, circular like that, I just think is absolutely fantastic. And they really executed this well. I will say really quickly, you will see some cubes that are already out here on the board. Those are just, when you start the game, wherever on the board there are these little banner symbols, you just go ahead and put a couple cubes out there. It's just a way to seed the game. The bear actually has 4 that it starts with, and that's the only spot in its empire that it has those. So it's just a way to seed the game, to have some banners that are quote-unquote control of the area that are already out there on the map to start working with. All right, so what we're going to do is just going to slide this right to the first spot. And there's little arrows, tells you right there. And we'll just stop right when we hit something. It says deploy agents. That's the first thing that we're going to do. We're going to start with the first player, and we're going to work around the table with that. Now, when you deploy agents, those are these little square tokens right here. You have the choice of taking back 1. So again, that's after 1, you've got him out there on the board already. So agents are going to start building up kind of out on the board around this ring, giving you various different abilities and things and actions you can do. You'll pick up 1, you'll place down 2. And you won't place down 1 and then 2. You'll place down 1, you'll pick up 1, you'll place down 1, you'll go to the next player. Okay? You'll go around, and then you'll go around again, and you'll place another one. So you won't just get to place your 2 right off the bat. You'll go around to be able to do that, to give other people the option of different spots around the board. Now, if you look at these different empires, they all do different things. So the elephant does different types of actions. Now, they all have the same type of people. You can set your agents. You put your agents in that spot. So it's got the sheriff, the steward, the marshal, and the chancellor. But each one of those 4 do a little bit of a different thing for each one of the empires. Well, that's not actually 100% true. I mean, some of them are the same. So if you look at the chancellor is the same for every single one of the empires. The marshal is the same for a few of them, but, it's the same for the eagle, and it's the same for the bear, and it's the same for the horse, but it's different for the lion, and it's the same for the elephant. So some of them are different, some of them are the same. I believe the sheriff is different for everybody. So different, and different. Yeah, so the sheriff is different for every single area. So you'll have to watch that of what you really want to do. And all of these little symbols are right in the rule book. One thing that I would want to see from a component perspective is every single player getting a little tarot card sized reference sheet that's got what each one of these symbols mean on them. Now, there isn't that many of them, and once you learn one, they use the same types of symbols. So once you learn one, you understand how they all work, and it's very simplistic. You get 2 cards for however many 3 forts you control across the board. Then you get 2 of the banners. You get a banner for however many farms you have control across the board. So you go through and you see what those mean. And once you learn one, you've got them down. It's no big deal. But it would be nice for new players, I think. After you do 1 round, you got it. But it would be nice for new players to maybe have a little tarot-sized card that's got each one of those symbols and just a little short what it means. That may help from a component perspective. And again, this is a prototype, so I don't know. Maybe they've already got plans for that for the production version. Maybe they don't. But I would just throw that out from a review perspective. That component would be a good add. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the Pale Raven, and we're going to get to the board. We're going to say, okay, where do we want to place our first agent? And again, it doesn't matter because you're not. And that's something you need to understand. You're not green, you're not yellow, you're not red, you're not blue. You're all of them, okay? And you're orchestrating that political landscape every time it's your turn. So we already know. Well, and we wouldn't know this yet, right? So I'm way ahead of myself here in the explanation because we wouldn't know where these sit. So right now this is still a secret. You know what? I'm gonna put something over here in the Eagle clan, and I'm gonna do. Yeah, this one lets me just add straight up 2 banners. The sheriff over here in the Eagle region. So I'm gonna go ahead and place an agent right there. Okay, so that's now mine. I've locked that down. All right, and now it's gonna be the spider's turns. The spider's gonna grab one. Spider's gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna start working over here in this elephant area. Over here in the Elephant Empire, we got controlling regions here on this fort. So maybe I want to go a little bit more military. So let's see here. I'm going to, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something a little tricky. And I'm going to place it right here on the marshal, which means I can add a banner for any tower that's controlled by this region, or it's controlled by this empire across any region of the board. So as we play more, these empires are going to start to sprawl out. So you may be able to actually add more banners because you might control towers in multiple regions by this empire as we play the game. But for now, I'm going to do a little bit of a trick here. I'm going to show you how combat works as well on this first round, because we can also, the second action of the marshal is I can attack a neighboring region. Now we're going to go to the Serpent Clan, and the Serpent Clan is actually going to go hang out over here in the lion area. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go right to the Steward. I'm going to do a Steward. And it says I get a card for every 3 farms in this area that I had the lockdown on. Well, that's weird because I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But there's other things that I will be able to do, and I'll show you how these tracks work as well. So there's a reason why this player, the Serpent player, is trying to be really sneaky, is going to put their agent right there. Now we're going to go to the Cult of the Rat. And the Cult of the Rat, let's just say, is going to go here with the let's go with the Steward as well. And now we're back to the Pale. And the Pale is going to go with the Steward here. And now the Spider is going to go with the Chancellor here. And the Snake is going to go right here with the Marshal. And now the Lion is actually going to go right here. Okay? Very nice. Very nicely done, Lion. Okay, so now how this is going to work is you're then going to move your turn marker, because everyone's now done placing their agents on the board of what actions they want to take around these various empires. We're now going to move to the Bear Empire, and now the Bear Empire is going to play out. Well, what do we have here? No one's on the Sheriff. We got a Pale Raven on the Steward. No one's on the Marshal. And we have a Spider on the Chancellor. So how this works is if there's ever a spot, and you'll just go right each one at a time, if there's ever a spot that doesn't have an agent of one of your different clans or your cults, one of those not on it, immediately to its right, whoever is there, if there's someone there, gets that ability. So you can think about it as it goes around that track. If you are further down and there's nobody behind you, you get that action, not all of them. You just get the one action behind you plus the action that you're on. So you'll find, why did the Lion character go ahead and put their agent here? Well, that may be because, you know what, they just wanted the Steward action. Or it may be because they wanted to make sure the Spider Clan didn't get the Marshal and the Steward action. So that's something else that you'll watch as you go around and you place your agents. It's not just about, hey, I absolutely want this ability. Sometimes you may put an agent down only to block someone from getting 2 different types of actions when it's their turn. And I like that as well. That's where the competitive nature, or a little bit of the competitive nature, comes in with this game. So as a player, you do want to be watching what other actions players are taking and why they may be taking those actions. Again, like I said, this is a thinker kind of game. It's a very, very simple game, but it is a thinking game. It is a political game. You're really thinking about why are people taking the certain actions that they're taking, because again, everything that's on this board is accessible to everyone. You're not just the Bear Clan, just the Lion Empire, just the Horse Empire. You're none of these. You're all of the empires, and every player are all of the empires. And I love that. That makes it so much fun when you're playing the game. Otherwise, we would just want to be the Bear Empire every single time, and then it would never be any fun because we'd always be the Bear Empire. Okay, so we come here and we find the Steward actually gets the Sheriff action, and it says, we get, for as many farms in this area as we control, we get to add banners. Or as many farms as this empire controls. It's not just within this area. Well, there is no farms this empire controls right now, so that didn't really benefit us. The second action is we can actually attack an adjacent empire, and only one can be attacked, and that's how you move and attack. You have to land on an action that allows you to do that. Well, we can't actually do that here because what I would want to maybe attack is this empire, but there's actually an ocean that's in between us, and you can't cross an ocean. So we'd have to actually cross to this area and then to this area, or we'd have to move here and then in. So we are kind of locked in up here, and we can't really do anything with the sheriff actions. That didn't really benefit us on this particular turn. We now get to the steward. The steward says we can draw a card for every 2 farms that we have locked down across the board. Again, not going to benefit us. Here we can add 2 banners for every area that is controlled by this empire across the board. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there is one area that's controlled, obviously, here. So now I'm going to add 2 more banners to this area, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, you can only have 4 banners within an area for an empire. Unless it has a farm, then you can have 6. Okay, now those 6 banners will stay there because it isn't until the end of an empire's turn until you downsize to the 4. So as of right now, it's kind of beefed up, and they have the 6 banners that are there. That'd be the end of the steward's turn, so the Pale has had their chance to do some things. We're now going to go to the Marshal. Again, look at this. To the right, it's open, so the Spider is going to get the Marshal and the Chancellor. So now we go to the Spider, and we say, okay, for every fort that is owned, we get a banner for every fort. Okay, well, there is 1 fort there, so we get another banner. Another banner goes onto that area because there's a fort locked down. There isn't a fort anywhere else. And then it says we can attack an adjacent area. Well, we can't do that. We got that attack. We can't attack. Now, the thing is, you'd like to be able to just go ahead and say, oh, we're just going to move here and then attack. We can't just move into another region without having an army there to attack. So there does need to be an army there on the board so this area can move in and then attack. Otherwise, it's just kind of holding the fort down, holding it down here in this area. We're then going to move here. We can attack again. Again, that's not going to do anything for this first turn, and then we're going to be able to swap. That swap is going to allow us to swap this agent with any other member of this council, of this empire, and then immediately take that action. So let's see. Is there anything that we would want to maybe do? You know what? There's really nothing else I want to do for this first turn, so I'm going to leave that agent right there. And then what I'm going to do is it's now complete, and we're going to move on, and then we're going to hit the eagle. And that's how it's going to work. You're going to go ahead and just play out each one of those through each one, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. And once you're all the way here at the end, the last thing you're going to do, well, there's actually 2 things you're going to do. One, you're going to discard down to 5 cards. So what does that mean? Over the course of play, you're going to be drawing these cards, and you can have up to 5 of these cards in your hand. And each one of them do different things. On each one of the cards, and I'll just show you the Bear Clan here, it shows right up top that it's the actual Bear Clan. You can see that little icon right there. Then it has different actions that you can take. And all of this means, these little symbols right here, is how many cards in your hand of that type you have to cash in to be able to execute on that action. So the card that you discard always counts as 1. So you could always just play a card and take that first action. It's got that big icon there. And just say, you know what, this is the card I'm cashing in, and I'm going to play that first action. Or if you wanted to play that second action, which is a little bit better, it would take 2 of the bear cards. Or if you wanted to do this final third action, it would take a bear card and a horse card that you might have in your hand. So you'd have to cash in this card, let's say with this horse card if you had it. You'd have to cash those in and put them right back at the bottom of the stack to be able to take that final action. Let's say that's what we wanted to do over the course of play. And you can play these cards whenever it is the active player's turn. You know, one of your agents is the active player. You know, you have a spot, you have an agent on an actual spot. You can then play a card. Let's say we wanted to do that in a further round. It says here, disperse. Take all banners in any region, abandoning that region, and move them to any number of adjacent regions controlled by that empire. Here's another action. After completing an attack, kill all banners involved. Here's another one on this card. After completing an attack, you may make another attack with any surviving banners. So you'll see that the actions on these cards are very different, and they will affect what happens over the course of the game as well. So again, now you have multiple layers of political strategy that are going on. One, revealing these and where are they located that's going to give you the biggest score. Two, making sure that you're taking control of cities within those areas for that big point at the end of the game. Three, making sure that you're strategically positioning your agents along the councils of each one of these empires, turn to turn. Which one do you want? Because there's only 4 rounds in the game. It's a fairly short game. And 4, taking advantage of these cards to make sure that you are executing the right moves and you're taking the right political stances, whether it's moving banners around or actually going through combat with these cards when it's your turn. So that's what makes this game so rich. It's so simple, but it has so many layers of richness that is executing out over the political landscape. All right, so you're going to discard down to 5 cards when you get down to the end of everything here. You're going to acquire these cards as you play. You'll discard down to 5 because you may have picked up more of them, and that will definitely happen the more you play this game and the further you get into the game, when more and more of these cubes are out on the board. And that's when all of these actions are really going to start to execute, and things are going to move around. You're going to take, you're going to take play in combat. You're going to discard down to 5. Everybody's going to do that. And then you're going to go to the last thing right here, which says, may expose and swap loyalties. That's when you're going to get to that point of saying, okay, everybody then can kind of go around the table and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to swap these 2, and then I'm going to reveal them. Okay, now I know now I know the elephant empire is worth ×3 at the end, and the eagle is worth ×2 at the end. Okay, that's good. All right. I really want to know who this ×4 is going to be. So maybe on the next round, I'll swap again and reveal. That way I know where my big points are going to be located over the course of the game. All right? And then what you're going to do is once you get back to start, the second round is now started. You're going to take your number 1, you're going to pop that off and put it right there, and you're going to pick up your number 2. So it's always clear which round you're on as you go across, and you're just going to do that the same way every time. Once you're done, you're going to pop it off, put on 2, pop it off, put on 3, pop it off, go around. That's your 4th round, and it's end game. So much can change over that round with cards that are in people's hands, with actions others take, where you may have a perfectly well played, and laid plan, and it might just be completely foiled because of the political strategies that other players use. So just keep that in mind when you're playing. Go for the thing that you think makes the most sense and you feel like is going to work for you. Don't get caught up in that analysis paralysis forever to be able to make that choice. Okay, great game. It's going to be on Kickstarter really, really soon. Be watching for that. Go check social media. It's out on social media. The dates are out there. You'll find the dates in the description below of when this will hit. And again, it's going to be very, very soon. Don't forget the giveaway. Hit that subscribe. Comment below. Get in on this giveaway. Hit up the Twitter and the Facebook. Bear loves the fact that he's in this game. I'm in the game too because I'm calling that's me right there. This is so awesome, buddy. Can't believe we got in on this one. Thanks, Starling Games. All right, A War of Whisperers. Watch for it on Kickstarter. So hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team, and ring the bell. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time. Roll up crit. Let's go, Bear.